Okay, hello. Now, this guy needs no introduction, and just because it's a random evening, over here we have Mr. Archie. I mean, you couldn't make this up, but Paul has very kindly said he's allowed me to video him like this, and so the reason I'm chatting to Paul is because, number one, I've been watching your videos on watches for years actually, and so I've always looked at you for watch information and for business information. And because you're an ex-watch dealer, I've always found your approach to the market, buying and selling watches, but also your knowledge of watches. I've always really appreciated it. Now, of course, I think people that have seen this video, they'll probably recognise you, and they might think, oh, that's the chap that's now chatting about politics and all these, these are difficult, relevant subject matter. And I thought to myself, I looked at some of the comments, and some of them are very positive. They like you chatting about this content. Other people don't like it, and other YouTubers, they're making comments, etc. But firstly, what I wanted to say is I know that what you are doing to make the decision to chat about the content that you chat about, I know that's very difficult, and because and I know you still have 4P, which is just the watches, but your main channel, Paul Thorpe, all of a sudden it's blown up, and you've got a lot of people there, and so there is this transition from watches to current affairs, but you have explained to people that you do still have the watches, and I watch you because I'm interested in what you're saying. I know that the issues that you are talking about are relevant, but I also still watch your watches channel, and I like Danny and the guys that come onto your channel.
Yeah, they're good lads.
And I thought to myself, why don't I roll the camera and say hello to you, and then I offer I'm able to ask you questions, but also it's another opportunity for you to explain yourself. Not that you need to explain yourself, because I think the precursor is, I know it's very difficult to tackle this subject matter, and I sort of know you a little bit as a person, and I chat to your friends, and I know the impact it can have on you as an individual. It can impact your family, it can impact your friends, and it's a lonely place. And I think I said to Danny, I bet you wake up in the morning, and you literally think to yourself, what am I doing? Because you really feel the enormity of the stuff that you chat about. But I thought, why don't I, just on camera, give you, I really appreciate chatting to you, and I have a feeling, I have an idea what you might be thinking, but I do want people to understand that might be watching this, that what Paul has been doing with his main channel, that's not easy.
It's not. Big decision. I've always enjoyed trying to help people and give people the benefit of my experience. One of the big things that I benefited from when I grew up, I had a wonderful father who helped me grow up, mature and understand and learn things and teach me when I was wrong, even when I thought I was right. It wasn't necessarily until later in life that I got to understand what he was doing for me. So I suppose I try and work in the same sort of way. There are things that I say that I'm not always saying I'm right. If I'm wrong, fair enough. But I try and show people what I believe to be right for the good of everyone, whether it be buying a watch, whether it be about the future of our country, whether it be about anything. I'll always give people the best of my advice to the best of my knowledge, and with my hand on my heart. But the move away from what is into, political affairs, current affairs, whatever you want to call it, has been a very big move. It's one that I'm relishing, I'm enjoying it. But yes, there are associated risks and problems, but that's life.
Yeah.
That's life.
And if I can I'm going to offer my words. From what I know of you and from what I see, these are my words, so do correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you are someone that's genuinely simply trying to put airtime and conversation around situations in England, issues that have always existed actually, and you're simply talking about them. That's how when I watch your channel, that's how I view your channel. And from a personal point of view, I get the impression you're a nice chap.
Thank you.
And also, when I bumped into you, you've been so gracious to me. I bumped into you on an aeroplane going to Dubai for Dubai Watch Week. When I'm watching your videos on Paul Thorpe, I'm also thinking, gosh, Paul, this is you're out on a limb sometimes, because anybody would be. And some people are thinking, why is Paul doing this? Why has he gone from watches to political affairs? And I just want to say to people, just to add, I've worn a wristwatch in business meetings, and my wristwatch, because it's silly, it's a gold G-Shock or something, has derailed the meeting. And so when that's happened a couple of times, watches it sometimes allows you to break the social ice, and it allows you to meet people because you have this common thing. So I can sort of understand why someone that has a watch channel moving into politics, because also you find that people that like wristwatches, that are strong enough to have a YouTube channel, they tend to be clever people actually, and they tend to be people that are creative, but also have a point of view. Now, often YouTube doesn't like you to have a point of view, because that's also understandable, because it's very difficult, to be in the town square, to have an opinion, or to meet someone that might be Marmite for people. They might like him, they might not. I'm the sort of person that I just want to listen to what everyone has to say, whether I like them or not. I like to know their opinion, and so I don't rush to judgment. I really want to listen, and your channel seems to be doing that. You seem to be allowing people to talk, and you are creating a discussion. But I know that's really hard.
It's hard when you're not well educated. I mean, I don't class myself as a particularly well-educated person.
Yeah.
I didn't go to some private school, or so I'm a very ordinary individual with an ordinary vocabulary.
But if I can add, in my opinion and my life experience, I don't think these days you have to be highly educated to talk about subjects that impact you directly. If you're a person on planet Earth, I'm quite happy. I suppose I take the Joe Rogan approach, and if people don't know who Joe Rogan is, he's an American talk show. He has a YouTube channel, and he's a crazy guy. He's also very popular, and he tackles all the subject matter that you can think of. And so he definitely is Marmite. But I take his approach. He just wants to know what people think, and he's happy to talk about it. Now, I think that's you, and so I wanted to say to people, look, Paul is he's a guy that's not trying to install opinion on other people. I don't think you're trying to change anyone's life or impact them. You are simply creating content that chats about, that discusses subject matter. That's what I think you're doing. Would you agree with that? Or?
Yeah, to a large degree. I mean, I'm not trying to change anyone's mind. I'm not trying to tell people what to do. But I do think that we have, in this country right now, I think sadly, we do have a fire burning. And if that fire isn't addressed, it's not going to go out by itself.
Okay.
We have to fight when there's a problem in whatever walk of life that you're in. If your car develops a fault, if your central heating packs up, by ignoring it, it's not going to make it work again.
Yes. Yeah.
So when we have problems in our society, when we have a separation, which we have in our society, which I find very sad, because I think we still live in the best country in the world.
Yes, yeah.
It has been, and I hope it remains, the freest, the most fair, with the best legal system. But times have changed and things have changed, and we are losing our identity in many respects. And if we ignore this loss of identity without trying to at least speak about it, we have a huge problem. And I think that when you look at certain areas in this country now, like the law, the way it's going, hate speech, which has really become nothing more than a blasphemy law that's been introduced through the back door. Comedians can't tell jokes anymore.
Actually, you've just said something there. I think you are correct. I think you're right about that. And based on my understanding, the minute you censor comedians, that can indicate that there's a change in culture in society.
Problem.
Because back in the day, apparently, comedians were the people that the king would appoint, court jesters. He would appoint them to tell him the truth, because it was said in jest. Joe Rogan talks about this actually. If you can't handle someone taking the mickey out of you, or someone making jokes out of you, it means that there's perhaps a problem with you. But if you can, so I do agree with you on that. Once again, guys, I'm not an expert. Paul isn't an expert, but I think you do say something very important there. I think our comedians, because it's a part of society, and also comedians are very clever. I've got comedian friends. They are bright cookies, and getting onto a stage and you allow. It's so difficult. It must be one of the most difficult things to do, to get on stage and be funny, and to have, and then wrap your humour around a controversial topic or something that's taboo. Gosh, I mean, I love it, but you have said something that I think is a cultural indicator.
Well, definitely. I mean, when we're now getting, when they run or rerun episodes, for an example, of say Only Fools and Horses, a British classic.
That is unbelievable. Yes.
That programme is now coming with a warning that it may offend some people. Now, if Only Fools and Horses offends anyone, then I think it's the people that are offended that have got the problem.
The problem is with the person complaining.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's just a small example, and I'm afraid it goes a lot deeper than that in some areas, which we won't go too deeply into. But at the end of the day, my job, when you say why have I made a transition, look, I've said this before. My grandfather fought in the First World War. He went to war when he was 16. He came home with his right arm missing. He left that in France. I think that took a lot of bravery. Now, if he was brave enough to do that when he was 16, I think at my age now, I should be brave enough to stand up for what I believe in, for what I think the vast majority of people in this country believe in, for what we believe is right. And I can't die a coward. I'm 63 now. I mean, I don't know how many years I've got left on this earth. It could be a week, it could be another 20 years. Who knows? But I don't want to die a coward. I don't want to die and be gone, and my family look back and go, well, what did he do? What did he do? What was the purpose of his life? I still talk about my granddad today because he did something. He stood up, he fought, and when he had to do what men have to do sometimes, he was prepared to do it. I belong to a lucky generation. We both have. We've never had to go to war. We've never had to fight a battle. But I do believe that we do have thankfully, a non-violent, a non-physical battle in this country to retain our beliefs, our Christian culture. And I am a culture Christian. I'm not a practicing Christian, I'm a culture Christian.
Yeah.
And I think
that's a good explanation, actually.
That's the way the country, I sung hymns when I was at school.
Yeah.
I don't go to church.
Yeah.
I speak to my grandchildren, they don't even know what a hymn is.
Yeah.
They have no idea what a hymn is.
Gosh. Okay, that's concerning. Yeah, that's concerning.
They're not taught basic Christian values because that's not seen as being politically correct anymore. They're more interested in everyone else's faith except for our own.
Yeah.
And I find that offensive. I'm going to be honest, I do. I find it offensive.
Okay.
I would not go to a country and try and force my views, my beliefs on them. If I go somewhere and I'm a guest, I behave accordingly.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just think that we need to do, and this needs to be done peacefully, calmly, with a sensible message, without any hatred. Always willing to listen to the other side.
Yeah.
Whoever that may be, always listen and try and look at things from another side and understand. That's my belief.
For me, I really believe that we should be able to freely debate this stuff, and I think we should be able to chat. We should be able to debate. I know that what you're doing is difficult, and I take my hat off to you because I know attempting to do something like this that can be very politically and socially charged. But I think the conversation is worthwhile because, put it this way, if you were chatting about an issue that really was a non-issue, eventually no one would watch your YouTube channel. Yeah. And you'd very quickly think to yourself, actually,
that's a waste of time.
Yeah. But instead, what happened to your YouTube channel? It went like that. Yeah. And
which just goes to show you how much people care.
Yes, and those people that care, I think, are the people that you do need to chat to, and you need to allow them to chat. In fact, if you have a problem, I know that many people say, if you've got a problem, chat about it until you're sick of it, and you'll find that half the time the problem's disappeared because you've got so bored of talking about it.
Yeah.
So when I look at your YouTube channel, that's how I see it actually. I think this is difficult. I'm not sure I'd want to do that because I know it's so difficult, but you've obviously got the minerals to actually put a camera in front of you and to create a platform that makes us talk about Roman. Guys,
okay. We're going to go to the hotel, they're going to drop off some footage. What are we doing for dinner tonight? Where? You want to text me later?
Yeah, I'll text you.
Text me.
I like Roman, so I just wanted to. But Paul, I love the fact that you've created a platform that creates a conversation. Many people will enjoy listening to not necessarily what you say, but what other people say on your channel. I've watched a few of your videos and I've been so impressed with the people that you've collared on the street, because number one, that person knows he's got a camera in front of him and he's just from the heart said an opinion, and I find it heartwarming, and I think, but Paul did that. You got out onto the street, which is so difficult to do. I don't know if anyone, this camera, I hate showing this camera in front of people's face, but I do know that the content it captures sometimes is really good. Anyway, but because I know that you've got dinner and things, but I wanted to end the video by saying, by literally just chatting to you about your channel and telling you that I like it. So people like me, and I take it for what it is.
Yeah.
It's the spirit of creating conversation about subject matter that's not easy to talk about. But also, when I watch your other channel, 4P, I love the fact that you have transitioned back over to watches. So when you said I've transitioned, I feel like interjecting and saying, yes, you've got two hats now.
You haven't quite lost me.
So the watch community has not lost this guy. I love it when I watched your channel, and this is tricky stuff, I flicked over to Thorpe, and then we've had 30 minutes of wristwatches, and people like me, I love it. I relate to it, and I imagine there's people like me that think, oh, this is fine. It's anyway.
Before we go, can I just say, look, my message to everyone: we're only on this earth for a short period of time.
Yeah.
War, anger, hatred, violence. It will be here forevermore.
Yeah.
If that's what they want to do. My message is to love each other, no matter what race, creed, colour, religion you are.
Yes.
Just love the country that you're in.
Yep.
Be appreciative of what we've got together.
Yeah.
I think the British are the friendliest, the most welcoming, the most accepting, the most tolerant people on earth.
Yeah.
But we're also, we won't be taken for fools.
Yeah.
And, you know, times have moved on, things have changed, but love the country that you live in, love each other, respect each other, and enjoy your life. You know, there's no time for hatred. That's my message.
Paul, brilliant. Paul Thorpe, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.